Okay, hi. So what I wanted to do a video about today was positive affirmations, which I've wanted to do some work with myself today. So I thought, okay, keep meaning to a proper full-on video about positive affirmations. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, right. So positive affirmations, and you'll hear it. You might even see it banded about where people say, "I'm using a positive affirmation," or "my positive affirmation," or "the positive affirmation for this is the following." And so if I approach this from the opposite, I think you'll probably get it more. We understand so much in the negative, and we quite often learn lessons in the negative. So I'm never going to do that again. Never make that mistake again. I will never be stupid enough to do that again. Those types of very negative phrasings where we've learned a lesson in a negative way, and the way that we therefore remember that lesson is not from a space of love, but learning from a space of fear. The idea of positive affirmations is to learn from a place of love and not from a place of fear, from a place that is completely opposite that. And learning things on a place of love and on that loving vibration, you'll find that things are far more effective. They'll take a root quicker, and the positivity will radiate out into your life in a much stronger way than the negative. So, for example, that whole thing about using positive and negative phrasing. I feel really fat and stupid. Okay, I'm not stupid. I'm talking about myself at the moment. I'm not stupid. I'm intelligent. I might be going through a bit of a mind-blocky phase at the moment. Okay, so I'm having problems with my cognition. Okay, I'm having problems with my cognition, but I'm actually solving those problems. So I'm going through a period of healing, and that's actually a really positive thing. I'm overweight. I'm fat. I'd like to lose some weight. I'd like to change the way that I eat. I'd like to eat in a more positive way. I'd like to eat in a balanced way that is natural with my being. So you're changing I am fat to I would like to eat in a balanced, positive way, and changing I'm stupid to I'm going through a period of healing. And that's quite a basic thing. And that's hard because many of us are brought up with negative, fear-based mindsets, parents, friends, family members who get attention from constantly having negative experiences in their lives, or who are great warriors and teach us to do the same thing. We learn that we may only get attention if we have something negative that happens to us, if we're ill, or if a family member's ill, if there's constantly a drama, and that's a negative. That's coming in the negative fear vibration, that there's always something to worry about. And I come from a family of warriors. I've never really worried that much myself, although I do it from time to time. But I come from a family of warriors where everyone worries, and not everyone, that's not true. But my grandmother used to worry a huge deal. She'd be up at nights worrying about things that had never happened and never would happen. So we're taught this from a young age, and some of it might be brought through on a vibration particularly which has been on the planet for the last couple of thousand years if you're into previous lives, where religious obedience has been taught on a fear vibration. Of course, that's just to do with control and money and us putting our pennies in, the offering box every month so we don't get a hell. Not in a positive way. So this is all about readdressing a lot of that. So a lot of us will come through on a soul spiritual level, holding on to fearful negative vibrations, and it's something that a lot of us will have reinforced in our life through nurturing. Okay, so in order to readdress that, you need to readdress the way that you think. So you do need to check yourself and try to rephrase things in a positive way, not to beat yourself up. And sometimes you might need friends to do that. So actually a really good friend is somebody who says, don't speak to yourself like that. I've had my doctor do that recently. Don't say that about yourself. You're not allowed to talk about yourself like that. So it's hard. It's a hard mindset to get out of. But positive affirmations I've used for some time. So I'll talk to you about how you can personally use them, and then how as a healer you can use them with others. And it is something that when I'll be introducing, which I have already got permission from the insurers to start teaching out, is a new form of Reiki, which actually includes the positive affirmations. I'm kind of giving you a bit of teaching from my syllabus in line with this as well. So you can either create your own positive affirmations, or you can look to the universe for positive affirmations. Good places to start. Okay, you're ill. There's something wrong with you. And you know that on some level there's the emotional link to that illness, and trying to overcome that emotional link. So again, looking at me personally, my issues have been around gynecological things. So let's have a look. So I have got a book here. Can you see that? If I hold it the right way up. Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. This is a book full of positive affirmations. So go through. So let's look up one of my issues, which was endometriosis. Okay. I like the fact that I've said that. Okay, so insecurity, disappointment and frustration. Replacing self-love with sugar. Yep. Blamers. Blaming me, blaming other people. There's quite a lot of anger with that, especially with the frustration and anger anyway. Okay, and actually when I saw some photos recently of my previous bout of endometriosis, it was like charring. It was like a burn, which is quite an angry way for it to have manifested itself. Okay, so the affirmation that Louise Hay suggests to overcome insecurity, disappointment and frustrations, as well as self-love, to empower self-love, is to tell yourself, I am powerful and desirable. It's wonderful to be a woman. Yeah, maybe I've rejected my femininity. I love myself and am fulfilled. Okay, and then look at another one, which was I've had several issues with my ovaries last stage of illness and this stage of illness. Ovaries represents points of creation and creativity, which it is. You think about that as a female, it's your point of creation. I am balanced in my creative flow. So if I have been stifled creatively, that would have created an issue for me at a couple of points in my life, which when I think about those 2 points in my life, makes sense. If you then look at general female problems, so I'm trying to cover all bases here. Feminine problems or female problems, as you know, I've got female. That'd have been my nan. She wouldn't have even said that, actually. It's to do with the denial of self, rejecting femininity, and the rejection of the feminine principle. Yeah, I've had a problem with that. I've worked in male-dominated industries. I've often said things like, if it wasn't for these on the front, I would have got that promotion, or had openly had my skills judged and being told that a woman is not as good at the job. People do still open their mouths and say those things. And I won't go on about that, but that does still happen. So I rejoice in my femaleness. I don't like the English there in the slightest. I love being a woman and I love my body. So I've got 3 phrases there that I can, and actually I have worked with in order to get to the energetic core of what's going on with me. A lot of this is to do with self-love for me personally. So I knew that instantly that the self-love aspect I really needed to focus on. Previously, I had to focus on the rejection of the feminine, which I've had to continue to work to. I rejoice in my femaleness is poor English as far as I'm concerned. So I would have said I rejoice in my femininity. I love being a woman. I actually do love being a woman now. I love my body. Maybe the previous conversation we've had about being fat, that might be an issue. So I love my body. And using positive affirmation of I love my body in order to get over that. And then if you think about the fact that maybe I don't love my body and I've got weight issues, so if I then look up maybe overweight or something like that, and then okay, it's all in alphabetical order. Okay, overweight, fear. Ooh. Ooh. What was I just talking about? Need for protection, running away from feelings, insecurity, and self-rejection. Rejecting the self, and the others problem rejecting my femininity. Okay, let's go for that. Seeking fulfillment. Yeah, at points in my life when I have been quite overweight, I would have been in a relationship and been insecure in it. I would have been running away from my true feelings about that relationship, and I had been rejecting myself, and I did need to feel fulfilled. So I'm at peace with my own feelings. I am safe where I am. I create my own security. I love and approve of myself. Okay, I love and approve of myself comes back to self-love, one of my personal biggest issues. So there's a huge amount there to be going on with, and it might be that when you work with this yourself, you think, okay, actually, I'm at peace with my own feelings. I'm happy at expressing my emotions and my feelings. I don't care if it upsets other people, or I don't care if people think I'm too emotional. Deal with it. You know, we are human beings. Where emotions are our core, our energy, and if you block emotions, you're blocking your own energy. So you might want to work with another part of that, where I am safe where I am, or I create my own security. So that's not relying on other people for your security, or I am safe. You might think, actually, I do create my own security. I've always my own money, so that isn't an issue. But maybe actually feeling safe is the issue, so I'm just going to go with I am safe here. So you need to adjust this to suit you. And there might be certain things where genuinely, when you look at it with genuine perspective, and you do need to look at this with genuine perspective when you're sort of analysing yourself, and it might be worth asking somebody else for some objective advice. But I love and approve of myself. That's a big issue for me. So I love and approve of myself. So I have worked with these different phrases over the years. And there's a couple of ways that I personally work with them. You can choose to meditate using them as mantras, which works really well. I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. Getting yourself into that quiet space, thinking about your breathing, and then focusing and repeating that mantra. You could do it for self-healing. If you're a trained healer, focusing on that phrase as you move through yourself. You could get somebody else to heal you if you're not a trained healer using that phrase, to try and sort of really instill it on an energetic level. When you're working on particularly the first 4 levels of your aura, and something many of you probably know is with Reiki anyway, it works on the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental. There are several different layers to your aura. So when you're doing energetic work, you're working on those 4 layers. And for me, spiritual is previous life stuff. So if there's love and approval coming over from previous lives, you don't need to necessarily be aware of it. You just need to focus on it, and it will work its way through you. Of course, meditation is prayer. So if you just want to sit there in a prayerful position, asking for God or angels or whoever it is that you use or work with, loved ones who are in spirit, to come and help you with this, and just sit there and spend some time, 20 minutes, half an hour, focusing on that. And you could do that once a week, and that would be a really beautiful gift to yourself, really beautiful gifts to yourself that we all need. The other thing that you can do to get it into your layers of your aura is to write them down and work with them. So the Louise Hay book's really good, but another book which I use for the positive affirmations, and you can see I use this book a lot. This is a great book, which is the Book of Stones. Okay, so something that I was drawn to work with recently is rose quartz. I've been working with for some time. Amethyst, again, I've been working for some time. I'm drawn to work with, this is a raw citrine. I don't tend to work with polished stuff. I tend to work with raw cut. That angel was a gift, a lovely gift from my husband. So in here, there are some wonderful phrases. So I'll work with citrine because citrine is something I've been drawn to work with. Guess what? I just opened up on the page. And it's not something that I have worked with a lot, or been drawn to work with a lot, but I do need it. So citrine's keywords are manifestation, personal will, mental clarity, and creativity. So what do we say about my ovaries? And I've had a couple of issues, one manifested recently and one previously, about creativity. That's really good. Manifestation, which is something I believe in terms of an open and abundant attitude to the universe, an energetic flow. If you work with elements, it's elementally linked to fire. Chakras, they recommend the root, the sexual/creative, which would be called the sacral, which is your belly button. So root is at the base of your spine, and they recommend the solar plexus. Now, for me, if you've got something like endometriosis, it's physically manifesting down in your sacred space, which is your, for women it's your womb, for men it's sort of like your prostate area, which is the root of your sort of creativity and sexual power. So yeah, that makes sense then, that it's root, sacral area is where I'm physically manifesting things. Now when it comes to crystals, I tend to go with, I recommend you go with what you're drawn to do. So you might look at this and think, oh, but I've had an issue with headaches. Why am I drawn to work citrine? You may find something else in this and you'll go, oh, that's why I'm drawn to work citrine. Okay, so now going through, the guys give a lot of information in this. It's a really beautiful book. It talks about how it works on a spiritual, emotional, and physical perspective, which is wonderful because that's what I've just been speaking about. The affirmation for citrine is, I'm open to the inspiration of my creative imagination. And through the strength of my will, and I have got a strong will, aligned with the divine will, I will manifest my dreams. And something that I've been focusing on is self-love and actually making things happen for myself rather than helping it happen for other people, which is what I've kind of spent my whole life doing. I have got a real knack for finding blocks and helping people remove those blocks in order to energetically and abundantly allow them to flow. So that's interesting that citrine wants to come in and work with me at this time. And also my creativity is huge. But I've been feeling weak. I've been feeling ill, and that great vein of ore. You think about an ore, like an iron ore or an ore of a mineral through the earth. I've always had that on tap, and recently it feels like, oh, where's my ore gone? Where's that ore, that core of myself? Where's that vein of energy that I was drawing on? Where's that gone? It's peaked, bottomed out. And part of that again is to do with self-love, and to do with me realigning myself and creating balance in my life. So I need strength. So the fact that citrine has come to work with me at this time is perfect. And I manifest my dreams. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. It's got aligned with divine will. So that's basically saying that I want to manifest, but I don't want to ask for, and I'm going to be really trite now and say, I don't want to manifest my speedboat, which we all know, we've seen those videos. Get as much money as you want. Click here if you want $1 million. Normally it's in dollars. It doesn't work like that, because you know that it's got to be in balance and it's got to be in with divine will. If you start trying to manifest things that you're not meant to have, or trying to manifest beyond what is actually balanced, other parts of your life are going to go out of whack, because you've got to energetically give up something else in order to take that. So aligning yourself to the divine. Divine is a phrase that I like, but you could use a phrase like for my highest good, or for the highest good, by the grace of God, by the grace. These are the sort of phrases that you can use when it comes to manifestation, which will mean that there is a filter on it. So if I'm asking for something stupid, like I really want to be with that guy, and then you get with him and everything falls apart because you push something that wasn't never meant to be. So we don't always know what's best for us. And so sometimes you do need that filter, because we get ourselves so fixated on something. So what I'm going to do is a pretty piece of paper. Not at the moment, it's blank. Hey, but guess what? I'm creative. So I have got some really nice italic pens from previous life as a naughty monk who drew penises and manuscript borders. I'd like to think that was me. I was also definitely a sign writer in Victorian England, where you could write phrases in great length and in great detail, and people would take the time to read them. They don't anymore, I have to get my head around that. So anyway, creative. Isn't that funny? Citrine likes working with me. So creative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write out that phrase, and I have a beautiful piece of citrine, which I've bought recently, which I'm going to give the intent that it needs to work with me to my highest good. And I'm going to write something out that's basically in line with that phrase. I'm going to put those two pieces together in order to push that forward. Rose quartz, I'll do the same thing. I've already been working with rose quartz for a while, and with my amethyst. The other one that wants to work with me is jade. The only piece of jade I've got in my house is a piece that my son has, which the other night he did give to me, and I gave it back to him because it's his. So I didn't ask for it, he just chose it and gave it to me. So I need to find myself a piece of jade. Right, and then I will stick that with the crystals or crystal, and I will leave it there. Look at it daily. The other thing you could do is, if you haven't got a crystal or you're not working with crystals, but you take a phrase from the Louise Hay book, for example, is that you can then stick that on your bedroom mirror, stick that on the inside of your wardrobe door, take a photo of it and put it on your phone or as your screensaver on your laptop at work, and say it to yourself. I would recommend that you say it to yourself either 7 or 9 times. There are 7 layers to your aura, so let's get through all 7 layers of your aura. 9 is also a cosmically beautiful number, and you know, or at least 3 times, 3 or 9, and that will work twice a day. And actually, what you are doing when you are either using it as a mantra, or for you've got technical minds, when you're either using it as a mantra or whether you're repeatedly using a phrase for yourself over and over, what that will do is it's a form of self-hypnotism. So those of you who are into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it is just it's hypnotism by another name. Meditation is hypnotism by another name. They are all just different leaves from exactly the same tree. Oh, I like that, leaves from the same tree. So they will have the same effect. And what that does is, on a very deep level, on a very core level within your brain, it's getting into your subconscious. When something gets into your subconscious, it's accepted, but it's getting it accepted. And I would recommend you use that for between 21 days and 6 weeks for it to really sink in. They generally say 21 days for a habit to form, but I've also, personal belief is 6 weeks, twice as much as that. So you've got to put some effort in, but it will work. And it gets it into the subconscious, the core of your brain. So our brains are all patterned. Everyone's brain sets up and has different maps and different ways of viewing the world. And if it's used to viewing things in a fear base, what you're doing is you're saying to your brain, no, you're not going down fear base. We're going down love base. So I am big and fat and disgusting. No, you're not. You know, you love yourself and you approve of yourself. Okay? That's what you're doing. When you love yourself and approve of yourself, you will eat better automatically. Do you understand? So you're undoing the core cause of what's wrong with you. And this works so well from an emotional standpoint. So if you're stressed, I don't know if stress is in here. Might come on the kidneys. Nope. Anxiety, maybe. Anxiety. Okay, so not trusting the flow and the process of life. So I'm anxious and I'm stressed because I'm worrying about stuff that isn't going to happen. So I don't trust that life will just happen. I don't trust that life will just flow. I do not trust that things will work out right. I think that they are just going to work out badly. Okay, I love and approve of myself. Oh my gosh, it's down to self-love again. And I trust the process of life. I am safe. Okay, so that's the sort of phrase that you would use if you've got anxiety or stress, for example. This book's well worth getting. It's, I think, probably £5, something like that. Get it. You'll use it no end. and then you can then use your phrase and get it into your subconscious, use it as a mantra. But the point is to get it into your subconscious, to retrain your brain, to retrain your mind, to work on your mind is your core. Your mind holds previous life memories. Your mind is your gateway to your subconscious or your higher self. We only use a small portion of your brain, my backside, because most of it is for storing previous life stuff, ancestral stuff, which is another big issue, is, you know, starvation or famine genes being switched on. That's a way of switching those back off. You know, there was rationing during the war, so there's a lot of overweight people. There's a lot of people who hoard. There's a lot of people who are impulse buyers, or who are shopaholics, or who are even workaholics. While there is an availability of work, I will work. While there is, because there's been periods where there's been no work. You think about the Depression. There's been periods where there's been no food. When you look at rationing, there's been periods where there's been unavailability of things, full stop. Again, you're looking at the war. So they would have been switched, those genetics would have been switched on. Your brain, your body and your brain's amazing. Genetically, there would have been a part of the brain or a part of the DNA, which they're now beginning to understand holds a huge amount of information and is changeable. Science is catching up with the knowledge that a lot of energy workers have had. DNA is changeable. So switching on famine genes or resource genes where there's not a lot of resources means that the next generation are going to hoard as much as they can in terms of food or in terms of goods, because there has been an issue previously. So your body's amazing at knowing that for the next couple of generations, I want my family and my offspring to know that we need to eat as much as we can find and to hoard. Who eats a whole packet of biscuits in one go? Me, I used to, but it's to do with switching all of that off. So you kind of need to really go back and try and undo a lot of this, and this is a really, really good way of doing it. So if you're coming at it from a logical point of view, you're retraining your brain, you're retraining your subconscious, retraining your DNA and those parts of the brain that have been switched on, in order, which have been switched on for, your body's amazing, been switched on for positive purposes to try and help your children and your grandchildren. So the other thing that I would recommend is something like these guidance cards. Now, these are really nice. I picked these up in Glasgow recently. So Kuan Yin Oracle cards. I've been doing a lot of work with Kuan Yin recently, and these have positive affirmations. So this one is, "Hear the yellow tiger, mother." Yellow tigers. Cat is one of my power animals. I then go to my book, number 13. Oh, lucky for some if you're into your bingo. 13. Okay. Okay, so in here there's basic information, more detailed guides, an exercise to go through, which is beautiful, and also a prayer. Now, within that prayer, you're going to find phrases that really resonate for you, and you can use those as your positive affirmations. And you could use it for the day, that this is what I'm going to need to get through the day, or for an area in your life that you need help with at the moment. Now, I've not chosen an area. I've just asked for divine guidance, and I'll be able to work out off the back of it, hopefully, what they're trying to help me with, or just trust that even if I can't match up what it is, that it's going to help me in some way. So the prayer of the yellow tiger mother. Kuan Yin, beloved yellow tiger mother, I need courage and strength. What was I just talking about? Strength. Now to be true to myself and allow my own light to take root and grow. Oh, so I'm growing myself rather than others. Hey ho, what was I just talking about? Nurture me with your strength of spirit, so that I may realise that I have your strength within me too. It is my strength, my courageous heart. Help me, beloved, now to realise my courage and have peace in my heart. I feel the roar of your courage. Now, for me, strength has always been tiger and lion and that big cat feeling. And I realise that this is my own courage too. Thank you for helping me release this beloved tigress. Om Mani Padme Hum, which is a repeated phrase throughout this book. Is there something within that I can use as a positive affirmation for the day or for this period? Yes, there is. And funny, this is yellow. And what have I been working with? Citrine. So there's probably something within this that I can use. So I feel the roar of your courage and your strength within me. And I realise this is my own courage too. So that's probably a phrase that I can adjust and use in terms of strength and in terms of courage in order to help me through this period. Yay! Thank you, universe. So you can look for inspiration from lots of different areas. You maybe just be drawn to use a phrase. You could go into meditation and be given a phrase. So long story short, positive affirmations, use them in meditation as mantras, in healing. Use them for a day, use them for a period, use them for a specific issue that you're having and you're trying to get through. Illness is a big one as well. So different areas that you can use them in your life, and also different ways that you can use them daily, like I said, 21 days to 6 weeks. If as a healer you're healing other people, when you're doing a healer you can seal it into their aura. If you're Reiki master level, you would use the Raku if you've done teaching in order to seal it into their aura. You can also get them to say it 9 times or 7 times, whatever you feel like, when you're working with them before you seal it into their aura, and then give them the phrase to take away. And again, ask them to use it for at least 21 days, to put it in a place where they can look at it for 21 days and say it 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening, 9 times in the morning, 9 times in the evening, or 7 times, whatever it is that you want them to do. And as a healer, you can use that with other people very effectively. And actually, it will allow the healing to continue. It actually allows people to take responsibility for their own healing issues as well, which is the biggest thing. You can't have people, you can do, but it's not good for somebody to keep coming back with the same issue repeated. If they're still repeating the same issue, they need to get to the core of why that's still there. Find a positive affirmation, particularly when it's linked to an illness, so that they understand the emotional link that's with that illness, and helping them to heal that will mean that the illness isn't repeated or isn't manifested physically somewhere else either. It will also mean that they do take responsibility and understand the part that they can play in helping themselves. It gets rid of that feeling of victim or being a victim, which again is a fear-based emotion or a fear-based attention-seeking behaviour. Victim is a label which nobody should wear, or be forced to wear, or feel like they should wear. And I've had people try to say, "Oh, you're a victim of bullying in the past." No, I've never been a victim of anything in my life, because I take responsibility. And I have had people be horrible to me, but particularly when it's in a workplace, you know, this is a professional place. And actually, if you're going to say that, then this is what I'm going to throw back at you. I've never, ever allowed myself to be a victim in that way. But a lot of that is a strength that I do have, which has been given to me by my parents. My parents are very strong people, and have always taught me to, you know, look for my own inner strength, take responsibility for my own actions, and reflect and that type of thing. So there's a lot that we can all do, and there's a lot that you can do for yourself and others. I'm going to love you and leave you now because I have got my youngest walking up the stairs. So if you do wish to energetically give something, then pay this forward with a random act of kindness, that type of thing. If you do wish to donate any money for this video, please do so at PayPal me Rachel's Reiki, so RACHAELS REIKI, PayPal me Rachel's Reiki. I hope you get something out of this, and if there's any other videos that you'd like, please let me know. Right, I'm going now. Bye bye.